So we've been doing the podcast. We're at number 150 something. We were just discussing it, but it seems fitting because as we're 150 plus deep, we bring back MattRVisual, the man who started the video evolution of Handsome Homebuyer. So this is a great one. Matt's a great guy. He's really, leading the charge with content creating on Long Island as well as photography for weddings and things. He just built a studio and he's building out a real, all-inclusive, in-house content creating, social media, camera, the whole nine setup out in Patchogue Village. You got to check him out. Also, if you're a content creator, you're gonna really, really love this episode because it talks about the struggles of balancing the creative mind and the business mind and how you scale from starting to just film content, actually owning the business, to removing yourself from being a creative and actually run the business and hire people that work underneath you. So check it out. Yeah, kid! Welcome everyone to Smells Like Cappy with Handsome. You know it smells like Cappy with Handsome, right?
Yes.
Do you know I've had people turning me down? Actually, one person, fuck people, not multiple people, just one person who was like, yeah.
As a guest?
I can't come on because you talk about urine in the like, can we change it? I'm like, I can't change it for anybody, bro. It goes against everything I fucking stand for.
Way.
Even if Gary Vee's like, bro, I'm doing the podcast, because obviously you see I'm torturing him. I'm doing the podcast, but you got to change it. I'd be like, Gary, I'm sorry, you're the fucking man, but we can't do it.
Damn. You wouldn't change it for Gary?
I wouldn't change it for Gary. I wouldn't change it for everybody. I wouldn't be able to sleep, bro.
Okay.
At the end of the day, I love Gary Vee, which is interesting because there's been an evolution that you've obviously lived through with me. You created the evolution, right? But he's just a man.
Yeah, no, 100%. You can't switch up your whole game plan just because someone doesn't like it.
No, you can't compromise who you are and what you believe in for anybody. Doesn't matter how famous, how much money, how sexy, how many likes, how many blue checks. You just got to be you.
Oh, 100%.
Speaking of you, you're doing you right now, bro. We're in a new studio.
Yeah, it's fresh, right? It's fun.
Dude, it's fucking, it's like I walk in here and I immediately feel sexy. I immediately feel sexier. And if I'm coming to hire you, I'm just like, take my money. I'm like, take my money, take my body, take my clothes off,
to hear.
Take everything.
I had to clip that for a review or something. No, but that's all thanks to my wife because she's very good with interior design and she has the eye. She has the eye for all this stuff.
The vibe.
Help me pick out this table, you know what I mean? The chairs, all that. I'd be a mess, design wise without her.
Dude, I'm with you. I don't design any of my houses. We do what we do well. At least we're humble enough to know that we're good at one or two things, and then everything else we're not.
Yeah.
And
you got to outsource the things you're not good at. And
we outsource. Today, I'm going to play basketball for charity for St. Jude's. I suck at it, but I'm going to do it anyway, and hopefully my ankles remain.
How do you feel? You've been training a lot.
You know what it is? It's always I've been training a lot. I feel good. The cool thing is I'm about to be 42 this week. Crazy, right?
Oh, that's right. Your birthday is
October 30th.
October 30th, yeah.
It's the second
night before Halloween.
The second coming of 21, right? 42. And I'm happy to say that I'm playing basketball with all these young bloods, and I got more energy than
keeping up with them?
So there's 10 people on our team, right? So we got Lou Soriano, Uncle Lou, who you know and love.
Yes, I love Lou.
He's got a lot of energy. It's me, him, and Al Gu, who's 23 and played D1 basketball. Everybody else is on the sidelines give me a minute. Let me take a water break. So it's good to know at 42, I still got it.
Yeah, that's tremendous.
Age is just a number.
It is. It really is.
Look at you. You're damn near 50, still spinning on your head and doing all that crazy shit, right?
I think most people my age's body is falling apart most of the time.
I would say over the hill for a breakdancer, when you're 25, it's probably the same as being a runway model.
It's your prime.
Yeah.
Physically, you don't get sick, you don't really get hurt. If you do get hurt, you can keep going. There's no nothing's really stopping you, right? Kind of thing. Now it's I go out for one night and the next day I'm like, fuck, I can't do this. I can't drink. I don't drink much. I was never into drinking, but just saying once you're in your 30s for me has been I feel like I'm in my 20s, but with more money.
20s suck, bro.
20s kind of suck, bro. I hated 20s.
Anybody out there in their 20s, just know it only gets better. 20s are fucked up.
Yeah.
They are. They're fucked up.
Yeah, it's terrible.
You're trying to figure out who you are.
Yeah, completely lost. I was completely lost in my 20s, man.
Without a doubt. I hit 30 and I was like, all right.
Start getting a little balance, equilibrium, figuring out who you want to be.
I'm like, I don't give a shit what any of you people think anymore.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. All right, so I know you're interviewing me, but going to your 20s, did you feel like you were a lot more conscious of what people thought about you in your 20s? You're more, I don't want to use the word insecure, but more like, now I know you don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like it's very apparent. But I wonder, was there a time period where you were kind of like, you weren't always like that?
Yeah, there was definitely an evolution.
Okay.
Like when I talk to people in their 20s or younger, I was speaking at a high school the other day. I'm like, yo, listen, like I wasn't born not giving a fuck. Nobody is, bro. Nobody is. For all the fucking bullshit, nobody is. Yeah. It's like, it's an evolution. And it probably gets phased in. But, I took a decent amount of social abuse in high school. I did. I took a decent amount of social abuse, bullying, just like a lot of shit went on. So I think that kind of helped a lot.
Why do you think that was?
I think it's just part of being a kid, dude. I think everybody goes through that crap. I think it's actually
there's
important.
Kids that are like the popular kids in school that don't really deal with too much bullshit, right? And there's kids that, I was one of the kids that had to deal with bullying early on in high school.
Yeah.
Right? And then once you confront your bully, then all of a sudden you become friends, you're cool, whatever. I always got made fun of for being short or skinny, whatever. I always had like body insecurity growing up with that kind of stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I've only recently got over that, maybe the last few years. And being a dancer was like a key way that helped me get over those things. Because when I was doing that thing, that was like what I was really good at. So you couldn't tell me anything. Like I didn't care about how I looked or anything like that. I only cared about what I was doing.
Dancing was really like your escape. It was the place where you got validation. It was the place where
100%.
Wow.
100%. I'm learning that now. I'm thinking back like, wow, it actually helped me through a lot of stuff and give me confidence and really helped me learn even about business. I learned a lot because when you're doing shows and you're dealing with like shitty people, they're trying to like take advantage of you and things like that. You kind of just learn the nature of people. So I learned a lot through that experience, through that timeline.
Plus you traveled the world.
And I got to travel. But that's a whole other story. Like, dude, you would go to another country where people are asking for your autograph, and then you come home and your phone is disconnected. Like, you get off the plane and it's like, shit, I can't pay my bill. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's the entertainment world for the most part.
Yeah. It's all glitz and glam.
Unless you're in that 0.001%.
Yeah, you gotta be. And I definitely was not 1%. I don't want to place myself, but I was definitely good at what I did. To get flown out on occasion
within the breakdancing world.
Yeah, and win things here and there. But I say that to say like I just learned a lot from that experience and just about human nature and just business. A lot. You'd be surprised, but I learned a lot.
Of course,
they're dealing with people. I think because everything's people anyway.
Everything's people.
So
bro.
you just learn a lot.
Everything's people, and that's what when I was talking to these kids last week. I was like, yo, if you got good grades, that's awesome. But guess what? When you walk out the door, that don't mean shit. Mm-hmm. High school seems like a big deal, but when you walk out the door, it's like a blip in your life. And when you walk out that door, it doesn't mean shit. And those kids that bullied you, that were cool, that were like on the football team, they're gonna end up having like fucking bullshit jobs, and they're gonna hate their life, and you're gonna fucking crush it. And they're gonna hit you up on social media in 10 years and be like, "Yo, you crushing it, bro." It's like, fuck you for being an asshole to me in the 6th grade.
Damn, that's deep. You still remember that?
Sorry, that was I just
So. Well, what's the quote? It's like first they laugh at you, and then they tell everybody how they knew you, basically.
Okay, I haven't heard that, but it's dope.
Yeah, it's probably a missing part to that, but it's basically like that. Like they basically like shit on you, hate on you, and then they can't help once you like break through the bullshit. They have no choice but to be like, oh, yo, I know that guy. Yeah, I knew him back in whatever.
100%.
They see you on TV or they see your Facebook ad or whatever.
100%.
Which you're everywhere right now. I can't escape you. I'm in the middle of a story scroll, and the next story is you. Hey, do you have a house that smells like
she's like, this guy.
I love it, man.
But it's sick, and we started the journey together, which is super dope.
Yeah.
Which is super dope. And now like Emily just came back. I have a 4-person team, which is crazy. You have a new studio, and you're really doing it because, like you and I were speaking right before this, nobody has like created that real digital agency, that like kind of one-stop shop, which is you have to. Like, I feel like that's really the only way to do it. And you're there, you're in motion.
This is the goal. That's the goal for 2022 is to offer, I already do like a lot of different components when I'm dealing with clients. Like, you're doing their graphic design, you're doing like, there's a lot of things.
Do you do graphic design too?
Well, Yeah, well, when you're designing video, like videos for social, micro content, all the stuff Levy does for you, it's technically like that could be a graphic designer that's working on those templates, for your videos, which I'm sure you're gonna have a graphic designer on staff if you don't already. But what I'm saying is I wear many hats when I'm dealing with clients. So now it's like, all right, I really want to expand on that, and like following your example, find people that want to come on board as partners or employees, and help me with those aspects that I'm weak in, but I know that I know how to maneuver them, and I know how to utilize them. You know what I mean? Because I think like I've done graphic design like in school before. I've done obviously I do video, but there's certain things like you can't just be doing everything all the time in your business. And that's what I'm learning now, because as a creative, we tend to have an ego. Like we want to be responsible for the whole project. Like when you see that video, like directed, edited, everything, you want your name to be on the thing. But I'm here to say like, that's a bullshit way of thinking. And that's why creatives don't make money, a lot of them, and why you guys hold yourselves back, because you're trying to wear too many hats. You're trying to be everything when you just got to be what you're good at. And I say that because the guy sitting across from me right now, I've watched it and I've seen it firsthand. Like I know what your strengths are just by looking at it. Like dealing with you, I know what your strengths are. Sales, talking to people. You obviously know the process of what you do. Like you know what the fuck you're talking about. But you can't be in the trench. Like you're in the trenches in a different way. Like you can't be there through every step of the way. You have to like funnel it out to people and do what you're good at, which is relationships, bring in business. Because without that, right, our businesses are kind of dead. And
that's the interesting thing that I was going to transition to you, because I was going to say it and then you actually said it to me, which is, so you're a creative. Most creatives, and I see it with my architecture firm and all that, it's like two different brains. It's like the creative brain and then the business brain. So as the creative who's in there all the time, now building out this machine, like ultimately, and I hate to say it because maybe it's not true, but it is true, you're going to have to remove yourself from being the creative and be the business person.
Yeah, that's something I've been working on for the last few years. Even from when we first started working together, I feel like I've grown a lot in the last 2.5, almost 3 years. And again, watching people like you and being able to have been surrounded by different people along this path, I had to put on the business hat. Reading books, watch workshops, courses, all that shit. But it's something that creatives don't really do. They don't really focus on the business aspect. They wonder why they're getting taken advantage of, or and that's a whole other topic we could talk about. But I don't want to go too deep into that. I see you get passionate about that. I get passionate. You know why? Because
know your worth.
Yeah, because we live in a time where everyone with a camera is like a photographer or videographer, right? Yeah. And they'll charge peanuts to go do some work, which is fine, right? But then that gives the perception to people that that's what the standard is, and that's not really the standard. You know what I mean?
No.
So then I got to improve my follow-up game, because now it's like when I talk to someone, oh well, this person does it for X, and I'm just like, well, how do they even have a business doing it for that? And even I know my business brain tells me that that's not going to be a long-term strategy for them. They're going to fail. Yeah. Either they're going to fail or they're going to stop doing it the way they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, or that's just, or that person that's saying that's just not your client. Yeah. Because ultimately, as you grow, you add layers, you add overhead. It's very different. You can't do it for what you used to be able to do it before. But you're trying to increase your capacity, and now it's a whole different game. It's really exciting. It's cool.
It is. It's fun. I've had a lot of fun just going through the motions, figuring out what my ideal client is, and that's actually something you've helped me with too, because when we started working together, we had like an annual contract, right? And that was my thing. Like, I need an annual contract, and this is how much I want to make every year. And if I split that by X amount of, clients, and then whatever, right?
Makes sense though.
Well, it makes sense, right? That's how you plan your business. But I think I left a lot on the table from, making an impact and really helping people, because I enjoy doing this. I believe people need this. I believe people.
They do, but you have to get them hooked on the crack first.
Right, you got to get them hooked on the crack.
You got to give them some free crack. Yeah, you got to they got to sample the crack.
Bad, it's so terrible.
They got to sample. For some reason, I always equate things to drugs and girls. I don't know why, with everything.
It's facts. Well, we could just, coffee is also a drug, right? So it could be, you just got to give a sip of the chai tea latte or whatever the case is, which I just kicked because I was addicted to that. But my point is that,
haven't you kicked that a couple times?
Yes.
I feel like every time I see you, bro, I'm not doing coffee anymore. I feel great. And then I guess it's
a constant battle. It's hard, man. This is why I understand. I'm not gonna sit here and say I understand that addict's journey, because that would be a disrespect to people that are going through true situations, crazy situations. But I kind of get how you kind of relapse and jump back on things. But yes, content is an addiction. I'll have even, my clients, even Sean, Sean Waller, like he will text me like emoji of like the Chappelle as the crackhead, like scratching his neck. And like, when are we gonna shoot? When are we gonna shoot? And it's just hilarious, dude.
Because it's so powerful, bro.
Yeah.
It's so powerful. And I want to talk about, so like you, I've been hitting this pretty hard since you came out with that funny video. Because you came out with that video and you're like, people always ask me why I don't work with Handsome anymore. Is that real? Do people ask you a lot?
People have asked me that.
A decent amount?
I've had it a few times. It's weird because like I've had someone ask me, I've had other clients ask me like, oh, why don't you? And I kind of feel like they're almost judgy, like they think something happened.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's why I had to make a joke about it because I'm like, nothing happened. Like nothing, people assume that something happened. I don't know
you
why.
Put out that video and I was like, what's this dude about to say right now? And then you're like,
oh shit.
He's more Puerto Rican.
He has some repressed emotion.
I was on the floor laughing when that shit happened, when you put that out there. But then I started thinking about it too. And I've been putting out before that, just kind of like, here are the phases of your content creating journey. And there's certain like people that come into your life and belong in your life at a certain time, and then you move on. Mm-hmm. And that's cool because that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that's how I viewed our relationship. I mean, we're boys, we're still doing this kind of stuff.
We're here. We're right
but
here.
In a work capacity, you played a pivotal role in my life, in my marketing journey.
And that's always awesome to me. Because I remember when we first started working together and I was kind of like auditing all your stuff, and I go to your podcast page and it was just like all the little logos with your episodes. I'm like, we gotta do something about this.
We gotta fix this.
We gotta fix this.
This is bad.
Like you would just take the audio, upload it to YouTube, and I'm just like, fuck, we got this.
Bro, we didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah. But you were doing it.
But there's
right?
First thing you gotta do is you gotta do it. That's it, right? You gotta do it. Doesn't matter. And then my thing is the second phase is like you gotta get someone like yourself.
Yeah.
Right? If you're in Long Island, you got to get you. If you're in Oklahoma, find the Oklahoma version of you.
And like I said I was on a podcast last week. I was on Sean's podcast, and I said, just start. Like it also goes back to you said in your video the one you made recently about me is like it also depends on your budget, right? Like some people don't have a budget for a full timer. Yeah. Some people don't even have a budget for an agency, right? But they might have a small budget for a cousin or somebody that has a camera. But you also have to understand that you're also paying for the experience. It's not just like, so and so can make the video, but like
it's not gonna be the same.
They're not gonna either. And the thing is, there's a lot of people that make really good looking videos, but they don't understand marketing. They don't understand how to coach the client. They don't understand how to get them to create the content.
Yeah, this shit is hard, man. It is.
It's rough. It's like a balance. You're always balancing. You're always learning. You're always switching things up.
It is really hard. So just to kind of continue on the evolution of that, I mean, everybody has to realize that content creation is as insanely important.
It's here to stay.
Doesn't matter what business you're in. Doesn't matter if you're a politician. It doesn't matter. Like if you want attention lives on your phone, and this is the only way to do it. So like I said at the beginning, you do the phone, and then you got to work with someone like yourself. How you phase in is up to you and up to your budget, right? So like you and I had spoken before about doing like a once a month thing with people, where someone comes in for like a couple hours once a month, and they crank out a bunch of content, and then it's going to help your business, and then as you make more money, you reinvest back into it and spend more time.
Yeah, and people don't realize though that it takes time. That's the issue, because like I switched to doing 3-month contracts with people.
Oh yeah.
And after 3 months, I had one client fall off. I'm not seeing results. But in the same conversation, no lie, I'm not lying to you, is telling me that they got interest for a potential first time doing a commercial deal, first time, because of one of the videos that we made. So I'm like, dude, so you're saying it works, but you're saying it doesn't work. So then to me, that's just, maybe it's not the ideal client, because I don't want people that are overly focused on what they're paying me, because that's really what it came down to.
Yeah.
So I told him this. I was like, look, man, last payment, don't even pay me, dude. Don't even pay me. But no, pay me anyway. Fast forward, I won't go into the whole details of the story. But my point is, I'm trying to figure out my ideal client, because you want to work with people that really are invested and really understand what this is.
Well, that's
and that's where Sean comes. Sean is one of my favorite clients, because he fully understands the process. He knows why this works. And that's just my thing this whole year, is like figuring out who my ideal client is and trying to find them. Not just in real estate, because for me, I think my target is not just real estate professionals. It's just the solopreneur that understands they need this.
And then, maybe you also need to put out some content just educating people of that. Just something as simple as like, what's the ROI of a personal brand?
And that's my fault for not doing that, 100%.
It's not your fault. It's like for the same reason why my office is 2x4s and wires hanging everywhere. Like, we do construction for a living, but like, this doesn't make us money. You're out there creating content for other people. You don't have time to do it for yourself.
I kind of like that look, by the way.
Everybody does, bro. Everyone's like, yo, that shit's dope because it's what you do.
It's authentic, yeah.
I'm like, it stinks like spices because they're storing spices next door. And like, I can't even have a conversation. I got like Mark in my ear behind. We gotta do it right.
That's hilarious. How long do you think it's gonna take you to wrap that up? Because I can imagine you guys are also working at the same time, so it's kind of
so many deals, bro. We got like 27 houses listed or under contract on the market to be sold right now. Just that, and then everything that's like pouring in the door. It's pandemonium.
Now, how much of that do you attribute to your content creation?
You know what it is? I would say probably half of it.
Okay. I'm looking for an honest answer. You don't. No. Yeah. Like, you don't have to.
Because the relationships are like content creation. I'm gonna say half. Content creation is like a tool. It's not an end all be all in itself.
Right.
Like, I advertise on TV, which like I don't love. I probably get like one deal a month off TV, which is cool.
Not terrible.
It's enough to make it make sense. But it's like all those things together. It's like what you said before. You can't pick up your phone. You can't interact in the world on a daily basis if you know me and not see me. Like, I'm top of mind at some point during your day because you're like, this guy, he's running ads. He's posting 4 times a day. He's on fucking TV. Like, da-da-da. So that's the thing. It's a matter of like, I meet an agent. Like, I'll go out to this basketball thing tonight and I'll meet an agent that I didn't know. And then I'll like follow them on social media. They'll follow me. And they'll go about their life and they'll forget about me tomorrow because they have more important shit than think about me. Then a week from now, a house that stinks like cat pee will come up. And if my face hasn't been coming up every day from the point I met them until that day, I'm not getting that deal. And that's what it is. So I know that I can't just be like, oh, social media brought me all this stuff. But I know if I'm not present in people's minds every day, they're not going to remember me when I need them to remember me.
When the time comes,
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I like watching how you executed that. I think it was brilliant. Really kind of, if you don't mind me even mentioning it, it's not like it's a secret, but you build a lot of relationships with agents. Yeah. Because that's like, I look at them and I was like, you ever seen X-Men, the cartoon? I don't know if you've ever seen that. But there's like the Sentinels and the X-Men. It's like those big robots that come get them. And they just get sent out or whatever. There's a bunch of them. But I kind of look at them like that, right? They're going out and they're potentially bringing you deals almost on autopilot because you don't, obviously there's an incentive for them, but because of the content and because of the relationship, you just have people bringing you deals basically. Exactly. That's great. That's awesome. Like, I think it's amazing.
And they're running around for you for free, basically. I mean, they're going to make money with you when you do the deals, but you're not paying them up front. Yeah. And it's like an insurance policy. Like I always tell people, if you're cold calling, you're sending mailers, whatever, you get that one deal, it begins and ends right there with that one deal. But it's like an insurance policy. Like if you were an insurance agency selling an insurance policy, it's a residual. Like if I meet you and we're cool and I foster that relationship, you're going to bring me deals forever. Mm-hmm. So it just keeps going. And the cool thing is, like, I use social media as a tool to pump up people around me, to create an experience for them, to make them want to interact with me more, which is really the big thing. So it's like, I will bring agents on and showcase agents to get them out there and give them the spotlight, because then they get hooked on the crack. The crack is the attention. I've had agents call me up and be like, dude, I have a sick fucking deal. No one's going to see this thing. But in return, I want to be on your podcast. I want to fucking be in videos with you. Like, I want to be seen with you.
I just want to stand next to you, Handsome.
I mean, not like that.
No, I know.
This is real.
Yeah.
Real shit.
Yeah, I was around for one of those instances.
Real shit.
Yeah.
Real shit. I was like, bet.
It's amazing.
Bet.
It's just you've kind of hit like local celebrity status.
Yeah.
I think we could say that, right?
Yeah. Real talk. It's weird because, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I'm a guy that just buys fucking houses, and everyone's like, oh, congratulations on being on TV. I'm like, bro, if you pay, you'll be on TV too. Like, there's nothing special. Easily. But now it's to the point where it's fucking weird. Like, I'll walk down the street and people will be eating on the sidewalk and they'll stop and look at me. And sometimes they say something and they want to take a picture. Like, it's fucking weird.
No way.
Dude, gas station selfies. I left the closing the other day, and when I left, my attorney hit me up. He goes, yo, those people were like, whoa, is that the Handsome Homebuyer? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, fuck, we didn't realize, like, we wanted to take a picture with him. He's famous on TV. This is perception, right? So what's that worth?
You can't really put a price on that. That's what's crazy.
What's that worth?
I'm going to make that video. I promise I'm going to make that video.
Which video?
The ROI of
what's the
content
ROI?
creation, personal brand. I actually have a script for it already. I just been a little pussy to put it out. It's so bad.
So I think to answer your question, I think your ideal client is the person that sees the value in content creation. Like if you need to sell somebody on content creation's value, be like, bro, you're not for me.
Yeah, that's the point I'm at.
Yeah, like either you bought in
yeah,
or you haven't.
Mm-hmm.
And not everyone's gonna buy in, bro.
Yep. 100%. I don't want everyone to buy in, honestly, at this point. It's kind of like...
I think everybody will buy in, but at some point, it's going to be too late.
Yeah.
Or some people are just so set in their ways, or... I mean, comfort is a big thing.
Do you believe, you said too late, but do you believe that your digital presence is kind of like a land grab, right? Like, let's just speak more in the local market.
Yeah.
Right? Because in what you do, there's not a lot... I don't really know of any investors that actually do what you do in terms of content.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I feel like you get hated on whatever here and there by people, which is hilarious. But do you feel like you're kind of leaving them in the dust, and there will be a point where they can't really catch up at that point?
It's
because I have a theory about that, just in general, not about like real estate, but
it's interesting. Yes and no, because I'm not going to say that I don't think it's ever too late for people to get into it. At the same time, this stuff takes time. So when you and I, not to get stuck on numbers, but let's talk about numbers because I think people understand numbers better. When you and I started working together 2.5 years ago, whatever it was, right? I had 1,500 Facebook friends, and I had maybe 1,000 Instagram followers. So I've been putting out constant content. So I'm maxed out on Facebook now, and I'm coming up on 10,000, probably by the end of the year I'll have 10,000 Instagram followers, which isn't a big deal. It's real slow and steady. There's people with millions, they make one video and they have millions, but that's not the majority of people.
Right.
The point is, it took me 3 years and all that work to get there. So I'm not saying you can't get there, but most likely you're wasting time.
Right. If you're not already doing it.
If you're not already doing it, you're wasting time.
Yeah.
My reach is most likely always going to be bigger than you because I'm 3 years ahead of you. That's why a lot of these guys on YouTube have crazy subs, but most of them, if you look back, have been doing it for 15 years, 12 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
The big guys talking, they're like, nobody listened to me for 5 years, for 7 years, for 4 years. It's true. And then one day you just
So speaking of YouTubers and content creators, is there anyone that particularly inspires you? I know I'm flipping the interview right now. Do you have anyone that you kind of look to for inspiration, or just inspires you by default?
I think it's different people at different times. I think I go through phases, people go through phases with anything, working out, whatever. And there's different people that inspire me at different times. And now I'm really blessed because I'm hiring out a staff of people. So I have Levy, who's my full-time guy. Emily just came on as the director of marketing, and she's fucking brilliant. She worked for Betches, and she worked for Korg, and she ran those operations. I have these 2 junior editors, which are Gen Zers, which is very funny to interact with them. I love them. They're brilliant. They're super quirky. The other day they were having an argument for an hour over a raisin being the cruelest thing you could do to a grape. It's just, and I love being around these creative minds, and especially that are younger, because it keeps me younger, keeps me fresh, and they come up with a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, I've been noticing on your memes and the TikToks. Yeah, I like the Fast and Furious one you guys put out the other day.
Yeah,
freaking hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
So explain. So is there any type of beef happening between SQ4D and that other company, or is it kind of just they're just doing the same thing?
They're doing the same thing. I'm on the board of SQ4D, so we feel like we do it better. Different business model. They went out and raised $260 million without what we feel is a real defined business model, because the technology is so new. Mm-hmm. And SQ4D is 100% owned by the current owner, Enzo. And we just feel like we have a better product. And we're about to launch now. So this is New York. We're loud and rowdy. We're all about picking a fight, man. We're all about picking a fight. So that's what we're doing. We're picking a fight.
I love that. I think it's hilarious because I went to their page and actually checked out their stuff, and I'm like,
Icon or SQ40?
Icon. I've been seeing. I follow SQ40 and all those guys, but I just out of curiosity, I'm like, what are these Icon guys doing? I'm like, all right, they're professional, obviously, but you guys have a bit more of an edge, like on a branding perspective, which people might not like, or they might love.
We're also we're different kind of people. Like we're not engineers, we're not scientists. Like we're people that we're in the street doing this, like hands in the dirt type of thing. So
are you currently building the first 3D house on Long Island, or is that something that you haven't started yet?
So he pre-sold, SQ40 pre-sold the first legally 3D printed house in the country.
Okay.
That's actually being built right now. It's almost done. Then next week we start mine in Islandia.
Oh wow.
Which is that first one. And then we're closing on 27 acres in Riverhead. We're doing a joint venture to build 25 3D printed houses, like an entire subdivision, all 3D printed. Yeah, it's gonna be dope.
Crazy.
This is it, dude.
That's crazy.
So now I'm using this kind of content centered around that can elevate you to crazy levels.
Your highest performing video is that SQ40 video.
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah,
we shot
it together. Crazy. It's also crazy that was a year ago. That was last October.
Yeah,
and the strides you guys have made in that year is crazy. It's crazy because at the beginning I remember hearing there was a lot of regulation. There's a lot of pushback from that technology and things like that. So I think it's amazing that you guys are able to work it out.
You got to believe in it, man. The content creation thing, you have to believe in it. Most people don't believe in something that's not, proven or done.
Right.
So, the ROI of content creation, you have to believe that it's going to help you. It's not like an ad that you place where someone brings a coupon in and you can be like, oh, I got 10 coupons off this ad. The ad cost me $100. I sold $1,000. It makes sense. It's not like that. You just got to be out there in the world all the time.
Yeah, 100%. I had something else I was gonna ask you. I know I flipped it around about the 3D printing thing. Okay, so just tying it into content. Do you feel like talking about it openly has helped you guys, whether it's come across when you go to meetings and things like that in regards to 3D printing?
Yeah, I'm all about sharing everything with everybody. Yeah. Obviously I didn't invent the 3D printer, so there's, I'm not.
No, of course.
I can't talk about certain things, but I want to talk about the whole thing. The project that we're doing, the project that I'm doing that we start in a week or two, we're gonna live stream it 5 days a week. So we're gonna 30 minutes, we're gonna live stream exactly what's going on. I'm gonna walk through and be like, this is the printer working, this is what's going on. Here's one of the engineers. I want the world, everyone's keeping it a secret because you know how people are always I don't want them to know what I'm doing or someone's gonna knock off my stuff. Dude, it doesn't work that way. You can't just go out and
you got patents and all that.
You got patents. This dude spent millions of dollars, 4 years, and he's brilliant coming up with it. It's not that easy. So I want to show the world that. And in the process, I feel like I'm on the forefront of something that is going to change the world. It's very cool. He said this to me, Enzo said this to me. He's like, bro, you got to be a 3D printed authority. He's like, you have the direct connection to me. We do this stuff together. And nobody knows about it. It could be huge.
I think you should double down on 3D printing. Tom.
Hell yeah.
100%.
No, I think it's going to be massive.
I think that's the type of content that's going to take you to 100K.
I don't 100%. Know where it takes me, but I know I'm down for the ride. That's what I'm saying. I'm down for the ride. And the cool thing that I learned is, which again, back to content creation, attention is so powerful. So you might not know what you want to do with the attention, but it's important to have the attention for when you decide that you want to launch a vodka brand or do whatever the hell you want to do.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
That falls into what I have to reference Gary Vee right now, but he said something like that a while ago where it was build a brand. The power behind the brand is just that, right? You're not any one thing. You could jump into whatever you want to do at any point once you build up the audience and stuff. So
that's the thing.
People don't understand that concept.
No, they don't. It's it's really it's a popularity contest, man. People like you, they find you entertaining and educational, and you are a good person. You gotta preference that, right? Social media just magnifies who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're not looking to take advantage of people, but you're really doing good, whatever you do, people are gonna ride with you because they're like, yo, I know Charles or I know Matt, and I know that when he says he's gonna do something, he does it, and his shit's quality, and that's it. So if you decide one day that like you want to do a sneaker for breakdancing, people are like, I trust them. That's fly. Let's do it.
That will not happen.
You know what I'm saying, though?
Yeah.
That's how it works. Case in point here, perfect example. Captain Permit is a perfect example.
Okay.
So we built together a following on social media, and then I launched Captain Permit first for myself and then to resell. And Captain Permit was cash flow positive in 30 days, bro.
Crazy.
Captain Permit would never have been cash flow positive in 30 days if I wasn't the Handsome Homebuyer.
Right. We do that similarly on my end, like with the wedding brand. We do that because my wife also does like maternity photos, things like that. So obviously they go hand in hand. A woman gets married, and then she at some point is gonna get pregnant, right?
Yeah.
Have a family, build a family. So we kind of pivot that, like
that's smart.
Boom, boom, and it's crazy, dude.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, maternity photos are expensive.
I'm curious. This is an interesting stat. I don't know if you have this, but just kind of, how long after the wedding typically are they pregnant?
You know what? We've had some people this year that have got their weddings postponed because of COVID, and actually ended up getting pregnant before the wedding.
They were locked up.
And I'm just like, then I get caught up doing shifting my schedule around, having to do a last minute wedding for them because now she's pregnant, but they don't want to have the baby before they're married. So I was like, bro, honestly, after there's no real, I'd say honestly within 6 months.
Wow. Yeah.
Especially the younger couples.
They just.
I don't have hard data on this, but just from the people that I know,
they just want to get it in. That's it. They're ready for the kid.
When you're young, some people have that. That's what they want. Their American dream, right? We got the house, we got married, now we're gonna build a family. That's just natural progression for, I think, most Americans, right? Not everyone wants that. Or
you and I debate this often.
We talk about this. That's what I'm trying. I'm like dancing around my answer right now because.
Different strokes for different folks, right?
Right. Everyone's entitled to live how they want to live.
Different. Yeah, exactly. But it's beautiful. Listen, they're happy. You're getting the business. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know, like, you have somebody out there who doesn't create content, or they're creating content like on their phone, just like Boof, right? What is your recommendation of how to build up, like phase into it?
Well, that's a good point. So usually when I'm talking to people, I try to see if they're comfortably doing things on their own with their phone, even if it's like jumping on stories every day, because that usually tells you if this person is going to be an ideal client, right? Just from like a business standpoint. But going into just basics, start with the phone, and again, find someone that that has a camera, that is, maybe they don't even do it full time, maybe they have a full time job, they kind of do it on the side. Hook up with them, come up with a rate that works for them. And I said this on Sean's podcast too. Try to pay people, because if you notice, when you don't pay people, they rarely show up, and I've heard it plenty of times. Someone calls me, hey, my first question is, have you created content before? Have you worked with a content creator, videographer before? And if they say yes, I'm like, okay, tell me a little bit more. Oh, well, I had this guy, but then he just disappeared. I'm like, he disappeared? How is that possible? So usually it's that guy wasn't making enough with that person because that's just economics, right? Like, if I'm not making enough here, I have to get a job, and I have to, I'm distracted all over the place. So find someone that you're cool with, or connect with someone that has a camera. We all follow someone that does some kind of content creation. Link up with them and start filming stuff. And of course, there's more to shooting than just picking up the camera, right? That's kind of like ideation process, writing all your ideas down, figuring out what the pain points are for your audience and for the people that you're trying to do business with. Which, speaking of that, I have like 10 scripts I got to make videos for. But I'm really bad with that. I've been so busy. I'm sorry, guys.
I want to jump into one point on this too.
Go ahead.
Also, for you, I want you to answer this. I think a lot of people, like, when they pay someone to create content for them, they kind of think it's like an all-in-one package. Meaning, you don't know about every business. You have a guy who like sells pools. You don't know anything about pools, right? Speak on people coming to you like with the understanding of their business, their ideas, their creativity. Like, how do you manage that? Well, because you need topics.
Yes, you need topics, but I think going back to people understand. So sometimes people don't really understand their own business to the degree that they should. That's one. So that makes it harder for you. So it's like, okay. And being that I've been working in real estate for the past few years, I understand I understand it well enough to be like, all right, you should talk about that. That'd be interesting. Let's do like this, whatever. But yeah, I had the other day, I think I had a a sales call with a person that does like electrolysis or whatever, which is like zapping hair follicles. And it's also like there's a lot of applications for that I know about. But I'm asking her tons of questions because I need to understand your business. I need to understand where your client flow comes from.
Yeah.
I need to understand what the lifetime value is of your client, because these are all just important questions. Damn, I lost my fucking train of thought. I'm so sorry. Let me cut this out.
I think people think that they're going to pay you and that you're going to be like, oh, say this, say that.
Right. So they think yes. So they think it's like this highly done for you type thing where like these services that you pay $100 a month and they send you pictures to post. It's like, bro,
doesn't work.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on. Then your feed looks like literally everybody else's that does the picture thing, and then you're just like, there's no personality to it. People don't really know. People can't connect with you through just photos. Like they have to see what you sound like, how you talk, your expressions. You know, and that way, that's a good way to also like weed people out too, right? Because there's some people that might watch your shit and they're like, I can't stand this guy. I've been seeing him on TV for the past 30 days or whatever. But then you have people who are like, oh, I love your stuff. You had the lady that left a nice voicemail.
Oh yeah, that
I saw on the blog there. But those are the people that you're doing stuff for anyway, right? You're not doing it for the other people.
Exactly.
But this is not done for you. This is like you have to come in and be ready to put in the work. It's like a personal trainer. You go into the gym. In 3 months, you're not gonna look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? You're not gonna be swole. It takes time.
It takes time, right?
And even me, like this year, because I got married back in April, and leading up to the wedding, I was working out, personal trainer. I'm still working out with personal.
Yeah, you were
Shout
jacked,
out to Bonnie.
bro.
I'm still solid. I gained weight. The thing is, I gained weight, but it took me like a while.
When I saw you at Peter Grosso's event, you look like I don't even know. Like,
that was the summertime. That's when the hormones are like most balanced.
Bro,
in the summer.
you look like you were wearing armor. I was like, what is going on here, dude?
Can't tell under the. No, I'm just kidding. But I say that to say I gained 10 pounds. It took me months to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, same thing with content. It's like you don't make 10 videos, 5 videos, and then be like, all right, where's my deals? It takes time. You're building out a library of work. You're building out relationships. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's not just done for you. There's tons of tools and exercises that I deploy, and I'm there for you. But I can't do the work if you don't show up, basically.
Without a doubt. And it's like I'm constantly telling everybody, I'm like, do a podcast. And I'm proud and humbled to say that I think dozens of people, if not more, have started doing podcasts because I'm like, do a fucking podcast, right? But I think I'm the only person in the real estate industry that consistently has done a podcast.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, I'm going to do a podcast. And they do like 3 episodes and they fall off. Or they do like 6 episodes and they fall off. Like nobody is consistent with what they do. And I think that's the biggest problem.
Yeah. I see a lot of people that were inspired by you and the podcast thing, which is hilarious.
Which is dope.
Which is great.
Dope.
That's what you want.
It's dope.
That's what you want. That's why people go, oh, how do you feel about so-and-so, in your space now doing content, whatever. I'm like, I love it. I love competition. I love that other people are doing it. It just validates what I do. The more people that are doing it.
And it's not even competition because basically, like, bro, you couldn't do content for everybody even if you wanted to.
Yeah.
You just physically can't do it. Like, content creating, which is nuts because 15 years ago, people were like, this is a job? Like, what are you talking about? Now, it is a crazy industry. And I feel like you're still at the very beginning of it. So there's like a ton of opportunity there.
Yeah, I'm excited for the future. Definitely, I'm excited to build my thing out. And just to your point, yeah, I know as a whole, as an industry, I know that's still like in its infancy.
Yeah, real talk.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like for people that are watching this that are content creators, I would love your advice to them on, how to develop the business side of your brain. Maybe even leave that role of creative. It's cool that you can understand it. It's cool to understand all the things a creative deals with, but be on the business side too, and how to scale that up. Because you went from like, I'm a dude with a camera to I got a hot new space, I'm working with my wife, we're bringing other people on, becoming a full-on digital agency, et cetera, et cetera. It's a lot. It's
a lot of studying, but also execution also, right? Like marketing, sales I was really bad at, and I'm always working on that. Because I'm such a blunt person that sometimes I forget you have to take people through a journey. So that's
every time I learned
from you, right?
Every time.
It doesn't matter how matter of fact the thing is or what they need. You still have to like understand that they're coming from a place of innocence or ignorance or whatever.
Well, plus like when you're running through a sale on a wedding shoot, you've run through this sale 3 million times. That person's getting married for the first time. This is the first time they ever sat down with a wedding photographer.
They have no idea.
And it's annoying because we used to talk about this. I'm like, I used to sell paint jobs. I'm like, bro, like, just give me your fucking keys. Like, we're gonna stay here for an hour. You're gonna say no. I'm gonna say yes. You want to spend $200. You're gonna spend $1,500. Like, can't we just cut the hour out? But you can't.
You can't. It's impossible.
It's
human psychology. You have to get past.
Can't do it.
The objections. You have to paint the picture. It is what it is. That and follow up.
Bro.
Following up with people. Don't get discouraged because someone said no to you. You know what I mean? Follow up with them in a week.
100%.
See what's going on. And yes, something that I've been slacking on, also creating content that speaks to those pain points. Speak about things you don't like as a creator. One, it educates people, because sometimes people can offend you as a creative and not even realize it, right? Or like, well, why are you so expensive? It's only a minute video or 30-second video, but it's like, yeah, but you're talking about like 10 hours of my time all around, all in. And every project has different needs. But my point is, like, people don't generally have no idea what goes into creating anything of this sort. So you have to educate them and never be offended by people's ignorance, and not in a negative way, but just
no, of course,
people just don't know,
I mean, I think what people really need to know if they're watching this is the filming is the least part of the whole thing.
Right.
Editing takes a long time. Like I always tell people, and I'll say it again here, if Levy and I are shooting for 6 hours a week, Levy is editing for 34 hours a week. Real talk. Like, and how much time you have to edit directly correlates with what the product looks like when it's done. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Which is why we have 2 kids that just sit there and edit all day.
Put ideas together.
Plus he's editing also. Like, it just takes a lot of time.
Yeah, that's smart, man. I like that. I'm gonna have to find some youngins to help me, because
it's hard. It takes a really, really long time. And then also you have to think about it from a business standpoint. It's, if you listen, you did an amazing job for me, but there's limitations within everything. If you have a whole bunch of clients and we're shooting for 4 hours together, Levy, because he works with me full time, can spend more time editing to put more effects and things in than you could if we have only a certain block of time together.
Right. Yeah.
So you get what you pay for.
Yeah, and even back end too. Like, even for me, I've learned, like, for a long time I was doing everything myself.
Yeah.
But in the past year, I brought on 2 editors that I can
dish,
send things out to. I control the project. I control how, creatively. Like, I basically give them everything they need to execute on what, my vision. But that allows me to talk to more people. It allows me to interface with more clients, have more calls, instead of being stuck behind my computer all the time.
Yeah.
So that's huge. I learned that. I took that jump from, watching people like Peter Grosso, because he's big on like automations and all that stuff and outsourcing stuff. But that's key. That's another thing. So as a creative, when you're starting out, you're not going to have the resources to maybe bring on somebody, but get really good at sales and marketing and talking about what you do to people, because the communication side is probably, because as an introvert growing up too, like, I used to be a really shy kid growing up. And again, dancing gave me the confidence to, like, talk to people and stuff. And the more I do these type of things, the better I get to communicating and whatnot. Yeah. And I think you help me bring me out of my shell too. I want to say that, because
thank you, man. There's a noticeable difference between the first podcast we ever did. Like, bro, I remember, like, we used to joke about it, the evolution of your comfort in front of the camera. When you first started working with me, I'd be like, yo, Matt, tell the story.
Oh, it was painful, man. It was painful. Like, I would only do a video. I would have to muster up the courage to make a YouTube video. You know what I mean? So, actually, a quick question, because I know we're just going on here, but your ideation process right now, are you still doing Post-it notes? Like, are you still just...
What, like, yeah. I still have Post-it notes, yeah. Okay. We're better, like, we're building a CRM and all that stuff. Like, I have most of that, but it's just, bro, it's a lot. It takes time.
Yeah.
It all takes time. And it's also, like, I'm not an organized person by nature. Like, I understand it has to happen. I put those people around me, but I'm like, I'm an idea guy.
100%, you definitely are.
So you got to know, like, what you're good at, and it never ends, bro. And nobody ever has it all figured out. You look at something, you're like, oh, that just runs seamlessly. No, it doesn't. Stuff goes wrong all day, bro. All day. For everybody. So, but listen, the place is dope. I wish you much success.
Thank you.
Everybody out there, if you're not creating content, if you have some money, listen, if you're a content creator and when you start making some money, don't buy dumb shit. Invest it into your business, right?
Yes. No Gucci belts.
Nah.
And expensive sneakers.
Nobody even likes that shit, bro. That Ferragamo shit. Nobody even likes that. If you're somebody in business, like if you're a realtor, I tell realtors all the time, Amanda Palmieri, who I work with, who I've been working with from the beginning of the year. I'm like, yo, this is your timeline of the next 3 years of your life. You start to make money. I know you live, maybe you live with your parents right now, but who gives a shit? You staying with your parents for a year or keeping that older car and not buying that new BMW will propel your life so much farther, so much faster.
Yeah, so you're not stressed out about having to pay,
Yeah, or you just don't have the bread.
Yeah.
So be smart, learn from people, save your money, realize there's more time than you think. But yeah, if you're not creating content, you got to be creating content. MattRVisual's the guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was gonna try to play humble.
I want to leave it with one more thing though.
Sure.
Like in the video we talked about. Talk about how you want everybody to outgrow you.
Okay, so yeah, that the idea. So the way the way it worked with us, and I didn't know at the time, but that's the strategy, right? Get somebody from 0 to hero. No, I'm just kidding. That's cliche. From 0 to actually creating content, building your business to a point where yes, you can hire someone full time to do this. That should be the goal for most people, that are actually invested in their business and see longevity in what they're doing. Obviously, some people are just in it for a quick cash grab or whatever. But if you truly see yourself doing this 10 years from now, you should start now. Start the process now. Create content by yourself. As you grow, you start doing the necessary things to better position yourself and just do more content.
Yeah, the point of creating content, to break it down to economics for people without using real numbers, the point of creating content is to make more money, right?
Yes.
Because you want to bring in business. So at the beginning, you don't have a ton of money, so you work with a content creator like yourself. You get a certain amount of time with that person, a certain amount of content, which makes you more money. Ideally, you take that money and reinvest it back into the business because you have this model that now works. Just pour gasoline on it.
Mm-hmm.
Once you have the machine that works. So that's why you pay a very important role right in the middle. There's the people with the camera with just their phone. Then there's you. And then once people have bought in and realized and they're making more money as a result of working with you, if they want to pour gasoline on it, it doesn't make sense to spend more time with you at that point because the economics of it don't make sense. They have to hire somebody full time and then do what I'm doing, which is build out a team around those people. But you play a very important role there.
I'd like to think so.
Does that make sense, right?
Yes. But working with you helped me realize what that strategy looks like.
Yeah.
Because obviously you can't have a client forever, right? That's highly unlikely.
Well, it depends. It depends.
It depends. On occasion, yeah.
Not everybody wants to flip 200 houses and they have visions of grandeur and want a 12-person
Yeah.
content creating team.
Yeah.
So it depends. But I think it's important for every content creator to say, hey, listen, I want to help build your brand to the point where you outgrow me. And I think that's dope.
Yeah, that might be my new slogan.
Yeah. You can take that shit.
Yeah, I just took it.
Yo, I love you.
Woo.
Bro,
Thank you,
congratulations. The place is dope.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
If you need to create content, you got to hit him up. You know who he is. He's the man. MattRVisual. Patchogue. Great things happening out here. How do people get in touch with you?
Hit me on MattRVisual on Instagram. That's at MattRVisual, and that's how you see me.
Content, weddings, maternity. What else you got?
That's it for now. We got 3 brands that we're growing simultaneously right now, and it's gonna be, the future looks bright.
Silent Catcher is dope. If you have a girlfriend, gentlemen, and they want to get married, but you're still kind of don't let them see the Silent Catcher.
Don't come to the page. Don't come to that page.
Forget it.
It's over. Once they get to that page.
Oh my God, it's so beautiful. It's so romantic. Over. Matt's doing our wedding photos. I've been there. I've gotten that. Keep them away, but it's dope. It is. If you're gonna get married, Silent Capture. Check it out.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Love you, man.
Likewise, man.